All right, let's see if this works. Going live. Oh, it says we're live. Hey, if we're doing this right, and so far we haven't been, um, episode 50 of Slurp Toast is now live streaming on YouTube around the world. So we'll see. I've got my phone sitting here. It's supposed to have a little bit of a delay, so we'll see how it goes. So anyway, how are you, sir?
Oh, we're doing okay. I'm trying to find an angle that doesn't make me look like a robot. Woo! Or
Um,
I may just find an angle that's all you see.
oh, nice. Yeah. Hey, guess what? I'm looking at my phone,
Oh,
and we
that's going
are
to be
actually.
hard for me to actually keep my head in that zone, but we'll try.
Yeah, you're gonna have a neck cramp before we're done if you try that. We
There
are
we go.
live streaming, dude.
Yeah, okay, good. Now I just can't
Okay.
move my head at all.
So I spent some time today before the podcast getting some of the graphics and the branding fixed up. I don't know if you can see the toasty there at the top, right above your head.
Right
There he is, and I did this
there.
too. But yep, you
Poke,
got him.
poke.
I did this too. Get the kind of the little dot uh, thing there, but I'm gonna make this bigger. And I've got some fun banners. Watch this. Dun dun dun.
Oh, there we go. I may also try and move my head to get the color balance to go off as well, so that
Look,
sometimes I'll appear extra green.
it ain't easy being green, brother.
Uh-uh.
But you threw us a segue. Let's start with SheHulk. See what I did there?
Very nice. Actually, one of the better Marvel shows.
I am pretty confident I would have put it in my number one spot now.
Hmm,
I
yeah,
like that it's just little bite size nuggets of fun.
they are fun. The only episode I haven't really enjoyed fully was the wedding one. Um, just because I thought her storyline in that episode was filler. I was like, well, let's just have this fight with Tatiana since we paid what's her name to be in it. We might as well have
Jamila Jamil.
Jamila
Yes,
Jamila.
Titania is Tahani from A Good Place with superpowers, apparently.
Uh-huh. Although I'm not exactly sure what they are, it just seems to be strong and kind of a bitch. I don't know.
And kind of able to take a fall. And so
Able
far,
to
that's
take a
all we've
punch,
got.
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, in the comics, Titania is paired up with the Absorbing Man. I think it'd be a lot of fun to see him show up. But
That being said, I enjoyed the B storyline with Mr. Immortal and the class action divorce case.
God, that was brilliant. I loved it when he was making the settlement and discussed all the money he had from his first wife, Baroness whatever von something
Yes.
Stein. That was awesome. He's been doing this for a long damn time.
Yes. No, that was a lot of fun. I've I put off watching it weekly so I could actually do 2 or 3 episodes at once because they are so short. And so I've actually didn't know what to expect, had no expectations going into it. Fell asleep on my first viewing of the first episode, came back, gave it a second chance, actually kind of liked it, and then it got better from there. The Dave and Blade magician guy was hilarious for one, and that court scene where he wins and he and his attorney and everybody are dancing around and pulling scarves out of their sleeves.
I loved the self-help group from the last episode with all of the C-list villains and heroes. That was priceless.
Oh my god, that was amazing. Yes.
No, you
No,
like
I'm a
About
bull
Mistake.
man. I'm a man bull, not a mechanical man bull or whatever he said. Oh wow,
You were sitting on that one for a while. Yeah, I
I
loved it.
felt forced.
Ella Gilia got a chance on the show. That was
Yes.
pretty funny because
I'm not a matador, but I experienced with matadoring in college. It was like, what the hell?
Yeah,
And clearly written by women because some of the men characters are just so vapid, which I
most of
totally
them.
enjoy. Yes, most of the men are.
I was the guy who is the other attorney in their office, the sneakerhead.
Uh,
was on Arrow for a while. He was one of the big bads on Arrow in season 7 or 8 or something. And it took me, I was like, I know that guy from something. Oh shit. He's the guy that blew up the island. Okay. That's unexpected.
No, but that's been a fun show. It's been a fun watch.
Yeah.
I think Wong showing up and then that Madison chick, Wongster, Wongy.
I love that Wong showed up, and then when they were going to charge him, he said, "Gotta go."
Yeah,
Wong out.
Yeah. No, that it's been very well done. It's been very enjoyable. CGI in places gets a little
that is my one complaint about the SheHulk CGI gets sketchy in spots, and that is my one concern. But
I think if you because I find that as I'm watching the show, it's not so much to take you out of the moment. Like you watch these shows with a little suspension of belief. And I don't think it fully takes you out of those moments. Occasionally, you'll catch a scene that's just like, "Woo, robot walking."
Yeah. They've still got to move. I think that's the thing. I think they've got some of the kinks to work out with the movement of the character, which you think they would have done already with the other Hulk, but they haven't quite gotten them down. But he hasn't been on the screen for as much time per capita as she has. So.
Yes. Anyway, still better than Lou Ferrigno in body paint.
In green sneakers.
In green
I am curious.
And that shaggy Cruella DeVille flight rig. Yeah.
But we loved it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
I am curious. It's sort of like they're using this as sort of a soft Hulk sequel almost. Tying in the Abomination and all those things. I love the line when the Hulk said, "I'm a completely different person than I was back then." I laughed. I know I was supposed to laugh, and I did. So
yes, Abominstay. I saw that poster in the background, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" Not gonna read all the posters in the background. Today is today. Neil Blonsky.
Oh, Tim Roth is a treasure. He really is.
And to be honest, I thought that it was going to go sideways, that she was going to come out of the yurt and they were all going to be, suited up and it was going to be a free-for-all. So that was actually like a nice surprise because it was like, oh, okay, good. So I was, we got the sort of cliche group therapy.
It was the very Dear John.
Yes, and then I'm waiting for... I don't know. Chick stick me.
My name is Kirk.
Kirk, yeah. And later I'm going to go kill Michael Weston.
And then I'm going to talk to Jesse in group therapy.
Yeah. So
what is that guy's name?
The actor?
Yeah. Jere Burns.
No idea.
Jere Burns.
There we go.
So, yes, suddenly our She-Hulk turned into Jere Burns talk.
Yeah, I talked into it. Burn Notice / Dear John.
And
reference.
Breaking Bad.
Was he in Breaking Bad?
He was Jesse's group therapist in Breaking Bad.
Oh, man. Wow. Dude's been around.
He has. He's been through some tough times.
So that'd have been totally cool if he was like under the porcupine suit.
It would have been, actually.
Or I just like the guy with the Megan the Stallion. Do you really think that you can get Megan the Stallion? Sure, why not? No.
Yep. And I like the elf.
God, yes.
The
Coming back as
Asgard.
Nice. Yes.
So yeah, overall, I have, and I like that they're 30-ish minutes apiece.
Well, running them back to back is good because then because I think that's a show that you should stream. Because if you had to wait a week between episodes, I think you're going to lose interest. I don't think it can hold your interest week to week.
I might agree with that because I watched the first one, like when I went to Houston for mom's surgery a few weeks ago. It was the day it had come out, so I watched that one, And then I didn't watch it for several weeks for a variety of reasons. And then I had some time, so I was like, Laura went out of town last weekend, so I was able to catch up. And I literally just watched them all through. But at 30 minutes apiece, it didn't take me all damn day to do it.
Yeah, 2.5
Eh,
hours and you're done.
yeah. And then I had to wait for the group therapy session.
So yeah, so I'm kind of curious as how that's going to kind of play itself out because, you know, I think when you watched Hawkeye, you knew it was about Kate Bishop becoming Hawkeye, and when you're
Yeah.
watching this show, you're kind of like, where are we going with this? You know, where there's been no like tease of evil in the background until recently.
Now, okay, let's talk about that. Because
Mhm.
my money's on the leader. As I said earlier, I think this is a soft sequel to the Hulk, and I think we're going to get the leader.
So I did read internet spoilers, and yes.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't, but it just makes sense. I mean,
Oh
based on
yeah.
everything else they're doing with it, that they would tie, because that's been like, how are they ever going to get back to that if they're never going to do another Hulk movie? And you kind of need the leader in the Marvel universe.
Yes, yes. So now we're talking about the leader, Hulks. You know, the casting rumors of Indiana Jones as Thunderbolt Ross. And I'm kind of like,
Wait,
what?
what? You
You
lost
haven't
me.
heard those? Oh, so
Harrison
as they're
Ford
getting
is.
Moist Boys production, bro. What the hell is that? Is that one of
That is
us?
my son's. That's my
Ah,
son's.
there we go. Okay.
Oh,
Moist
we got.
Boys.
Do we have comments? All right, fill me
Bro,
in.
bro. Okay.
I'll take care of the comments. Tell me what you were talking about.
You haven't seen there's rumors floating around that they've cast Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross.
I have not seen that. I don't hate it. I guess they do have to sort of recast Thunderbolt, don't they?
Yeah, they kind of do. My only thing is that if you're going to have him, you're probably going to have him commit to, 5 or 6, maybe 10 years. And I don't think Harrison's got 10 years left in him.
Yeah, I don't either. You know what they should do, and I don't remember who played the character in the movies, but Glenn Talbot should maybe be the guy. I mean, since they're not using Betty Ross,
Oh,
um,
you mean from the first one?
yeah, I
Or
can't
no, it
remember who
was William
played
Hurt.
him. Well, he was Thunderbolt, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
But Talbot's always in the comics. He's like Ross's
Oh,
second in command, and
okay.
sometimes much more militant than even Ross. So I mean, you could go
Muy
younger with
mucho.
that.
In Spanish, that's muy mucho.
Gracias.
So I had a
So
friend, side story. I had a friend who went to Mexico to buy. He had a cart in a mall, and he started selling silver rings and silver bracelets, and he would go on
okay.
buying trips to Mexico. And so he went down there, and he doesn't know any Spanish, and so somebody told him, he goes, "How do I say, how much does this cost?" And they told him the quite literal translation, which was "que mucho," what more?
Mhm.
And so he says, I'm down there trying to say que mucho. And they keep bringing out more stuff and they keep showing me another. I'm like, it's like, what was it? It's like, you're supposed to say cuantos cut, cuantos, or cuantos cuesto. How much does it cost? And he's like, oh, not que mucho. I'm like, no,
No, no.
not entirely sure yeah, where you would use que mucho. But anyway, so very
Uh,
more, which would be
very,
muy mucho or
very
que
more,
mucho,
very more.
very more.
Uh,
She
I
have her
also
own show, right? Very, very,
yes, daytime talk show.
very
Very
more.
more. She was in ET, right?
Yes, yes.
Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore. There we go.
Um,
It's
I
a
also
weird
liked
show.
the
She did the whole show like this.
nicely done,
Yeah,
nicely
thank you,
done.
thank you.
I
I always like when Letterman talked about that later. He's like standing, looking at the camera, he goes, "You don't understand. This is my job. It happened at my work."
I remember that night. I was watching that night. I'm like,
I watched
what
that
just
night too.
happened? What just
Yeah.
happened?
Drew Barrymore got up on a desk and flashed Dave Letterman. 'Cause like I said, he came back a couple nights later because you don't understand. This is my workplace.
All right. So when do you think we're going to see Daredevil in his yellow suit?
Last episode.
You think it'll be the last thing?
Hmm.
Okay.
Or maybe second at last. I don't know.
Yeah. I think last probably works as your like payoff at the end.
It's
I
like
like that
Twitter
they're going
armor.
with the huh?
It's like Twitter armor.
I love that they're teasing the yellow suit, by the way.
Hmm.
And I love the idea of Daredevil in this show, so he won't be so goddamn serious and plagued with Catholic guilt all the time.
You mean just one step removed from a confessional?
He's only ever been Spider-Man with Catholic guilt instead of Uncle Ben guilt.
Oh, there
But
we
there
go.
have been.
Devil is epic.
Oh look! Hi, what's going on, UT Dallas? We got listeners. Thanks, guys. We're big with the college kids. God, that's what was going
All
on.
three of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, but there's a series that Mark Waid did not too long ago where he took him out to California.
Oh, fun.
And that was pretty good. It was not as serious, obviously.
Hmm.
And I mean,
But
even back in the 70s, like he went to San Francisco for a while. That was when he hooked up with Black Widow. And that was before Frank Miller got the character and turned him into
Catholic
Daredevil.
guilt / ninja.
By the way,
Ninja
I'm pretty
Devil.
happy with Daredevil. I'm not gonna lie.
Daredevil? I like that. There we go.
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. And have you seen the teaser for Terrier by Night?
I have not seen the teaser for Terrier by Night. I think we should start like a Marvel humor and call it Terrier by Night.
Wait, you're breaking up. Sorry. You said
sorry.
start
a
humor site and call it Terrier by Night?
Terrier by Night, yeah. All we do is just rip on Marvel. Or all
I'll see
comics in general.
All right. Well, I'll look into the domain name. Yeah, we can do that. But no, they're doing like a 30-minute Halloween special, Werewolf by Night.
Yes. Directed by the music guy.
Yeah.
Michael Gian, whose only other directing credit that I know of is an animated Star Trek short.
Okay.
And one of their short tracks. Oh, goody. The mid-episode lockup, my favorite moment.
Yeah, there we go. We're back.
Okay.
Sort of.
Yeah.
I gotta run a Cat 5 out here. I gotta run a hard line out here. Anyway, so we got that coming up.
Oh, wow.
Black Adam's in a couple of weeks.
Oh, is that already?
End of October, yeah. Like the 21st. So
working in the yard, managed to drop a tool on my foot twice in the same toe. And the nail just popped off in my fingers.
It's funny how you and I have ailments around the same time. I was going up the stairs about a week ago and I slipped and cracked my foot into the base of the next step. And so my right big toe is all black and crusty and coming off. Yeah. So
yeah. That was
why do we still, if we covered this, why do we as a species still have toes?
You got to have something to play in the sand when you're at the beach.
Well, I think you could stick a club foot in the sand.
That's not as much fun. You got to feel it between your toes to truly know and appreciate that you are relaxing. That's it.
Oh, so just
yeah,
nub in the sand's not gonna do it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, have you ever like been on the beach and then just like put your elbow in the sand? That's not relaxing. But when you like run it through your phalanges, that is relaxing.
Okay, all right.
That's bizarre. It came up. Looks like a little tortoise shell. Anyway,
every time a piece of mine comes off, it's got like dried blood on the back of it, and that's the sound of people tuning out.
That's right. No, that's the funny part. It's like. Well, maybe they don't. Mica, if you ever had around mica. And we saw it a lot in Denver. It's like really thin, like paper quartz. Mm-hmm. These rocks would just, shear. That's what this toenail thing kind of did to me. It just popped off. Oh well, I should probably have that checked.
Yeah, well, it'll grow out. I did the same thing to a thumbnail when I was a kid at the family cemetery. And Jen, I slammed the gate right on that bad boy right there, and it
Ugh.
just filled up with blood, and then it just grew out. So I had like a nail on top of a nail. It was really freaky looking for a while because that doesn't grow out quickly.
No, but that thing, it hit my foot, and I was like, ow. And then I picked the same instrument up, tried to cut a branch out of a tree, slipped out of my hands, landed. I mean, it was like deja vu all over again. Fell on the same toe. It was like double ow. Damn it. And now I've lost the nail. Oh well. Uh-oh, you've locked up again. Most
This is
boys, you are
fun.
correct. This
Yeah.
is classic Superheroes.
Oh, putting the let's see, what else do I have to talk about? I have a note here. Oh, I pre-ordered that Bruiser Brody PowerTown figure. So I don't have it till after the first of the year, but as soon as I get it, that'll be something we open up.
PowerTown. Which one is PowerTown? That's not
That's
the little
those
guys.
the new ones I sent you the link to a while back.
Oh, the one of Dusty?
It's
No.
Bruiser Brody.
Oh,
Bruiser
I
Brody.
forget.
It's okay. And I haven't figured out how to throw pictures up like while we're live. So I probably need to get a wireless mouse for that. But anyway, yeah, so that's coming. And he's got the fuzzy boots and the fuzzy vest and a big old chain and they're to scale. And there's a picture on their website of the 6 figures they're doing, like standing next to each other according to height. And they scale down. They scale down, and he's the tallest one. So that'll be fun. Shout out to PowerTown. Those are pretty cool figures.
Not affiliated with Hasbro or anybody else?
Mm-mm. They're just, I actually think they're affiliated with the Gagne family.
Oh, okay.
Vern and Greg trying to get some cash out of what they sold off. I don't know.
Gagne, didn't he wrestle with Brunel?
Yes.
Or no?
Yes.
They weren't the Killer Bees. It was Brunel and
Brunzel and Blair were the Killer Bees.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
the High
Greg
Flyers.
Gagne and
Yes, the High Flyers.
They were in the AWA. You are correct, sir.
Thank you.
You are correct. Nicely done.
Yes. Let's pull that out. Wait, what? No.
Can you hear the sound effects this week?
I can.
Okay,
I got a round of applause for that one.
You did. The last couple of weeks, they haven't been playing right because I wasn't set up right in the new format. But I got it figured out today. So, okay, I have a question because I stopped reading comics sort of like 92-ish, so I missed a lot of the really bad image related stuff.
Did you really miss it? I mean,
well, I've tried reading some of it subsequently, and no, I did miss it. But how much do you know about the character Strife?
Strife, the Marvel character?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was supposed to be a Cable clone or Cable from another. You know, it was when Liefeld and Nacenza or were just like it was that era where an X book just sold no matter what was inside of it.
Right.
You threw an X on the title. So you have X-Force, X-Factor, X-Men, 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 X-Men.
X-Men, insert adjective here.
Yes, uncanny, amazing, astounding, spectacular X-Men. Yeah, all that shit. And Strife was part of that. He was a Liefeld kind of creation. So he had a helmet, shoulder pads, tiny little hands.
There's a reason for the question. It wasn't just me teeing you up. I have a game on my phone. It's just like a left to right fighting game, horizontal fighting game, and it's Marvel. And the character Strife popped up, and I was fighting him, and I swear to God that the profile picture, it looks like he's got a giant can opener on his head, and I was like, this has to be a '90s character. He's got a giant can opener, pouches, and a cape. I was like, what the hell?
Yes. That was his secret power. His superpower was his Liefeld armor. So it constantly shifted. Sometimes it had lapels. Sometimes it had epaulets. Sometimes it wasn't there at all. Sometimes it was padded.
Never ever had feet.
never had feet. Again, those tiny little weird hands that just they taper to this, and yet there was never evidence of a thumb, but he clearly could feed himself because he
He's
did
in mid
manage.
transformation to something else at all times.
Sorry. Yeah, eventually those are going to split apart and be
It
Octopus
sort of
Boy.
ties back to my question about having club feet.
Yes, that man would never enjoy the beach. Just be like just spades. He'd just constantly be digging little holes that filled with water. It'd be a sad statement and probably a metaphor for what life is. It's just a tiny little hole. You try and
You're
make the
trying to
best of it.
keep-
It just fills with water.
You're just trying to keep the water out.
You're just trying to keep the water. Some of the guys at work follow Arcane, guy online called Arcane Bullshit, and he did like
I think
we may have talked about it, but anyway,
Yeah.
there's a funky little tarot deck, and one of the tarot cards in the deck is the coffin full of tacos, full of snakes, and he did. But he did like a print of that, and I've got somebody in the office who's very literal minded, and what is the meaning of taco full of what does that mean, a coffin full of tacos full of snakes? I go, it's a metaphor for life, man. You're either gonna get tacos or snakes. It's either be good or bad, and that's life. It's just a coffin full of tacos and snakes. He looked
It's a
at me.
much more visceral version of the Lady and the Tiger.
But what I loved about it was that this just piece of ephemera really threw him for a loop. You're kind of like, wow, man, it's a powerful, metaphorical non sequitur.
Wow. He's going to string that shit together and leave his head spinning, huh?
Damn straight. Yeah, Dating the English majors had to have counted for something.
Yeah.
The metaphorical non sequitur. Might be a simile. I don't know.
Like that.
It's like that.
Thank you. Thank you for laughing at that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, shit. What
Hey,
else is going on?
I finally finished the MODOK book by Patton Oswalt.
Oh, okay. Did you like it?
It was kind of fun. It was fun. I haven't read the new stuff, but it's the same. It's him and the same Jordan Bloom, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I've only read the first issue. I really, really liked it.
Now, I thought was weird was that series seemed to set up the MODOK TV show.
Yeah. And it came after it, I think.
Uh-huh.
The way I read things nowadays, I can't really be certain when they came out. But yeah, I think it came out after, which I agree. I thought was odd.
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely got to get a cordless mouse so I can do this without having to lean into the computer. So yeah. Well, look.
Whoa, cool.
I didn't get one made for each of us yet, but I will.
Okay.
We can put other stuff in there too. And I just got the crawl going at the bottom. This time I didn't make any fake headlines, but I will for the next one. But that's almost an exercise in futility because, the real headlines are so weird. How can you tell the difference?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I know we say we don't do political, but I'm glad I stream most of my entertainment because every now and then you'd tune into live TV and you're just like, oh my God, it's like one terrible ad after another. And they're so boilerplate and just so unimaginative, like Bob Smith. He's voted for the such and such agenda. He's wrong on taxes. He's wrong for Missouri. Vote the other candidate.
LLC.
LLC.
We've got one that's running now. After the Uvalde shooting, in the press conference that he had, it's not a great start, right? One of the things Greg Abbott said was, "It could have been worse."
Yeah.
With no context, that sounds terrible. Even in context, it's not great. But somebody has started one of those political action campaigns, and it's called "It Could Have Been Worse" LLC. And they're running all these ads They're just like 3 men are responsible for, and it's Greg Abbott, our Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who is a washed up sports reporter with his own little micro station in Houston, which is a propaganda tool, and then Ken Paxton, our Attorney General, who's under indictment and has been reelected while under indictment. 3 men, women's right to vote, or right to vote, not yet, but soon, coming soon to a ballot near you. Women's right to reproductive rights, whatever. And then it's like Greg Abbott, Dan Patrick, Ken Paxton, 3 men. And then they show the clip of Abbott going, could have been worse. I love those. I watched the debate the other night between Abbott and Beto O'Rourke. And
that'd be fun.
I'm not a huge
Beto did Beto work clean?
Did what?
Did Beto work clean? He didn't go blue, did he?
No. He took some. He was all jabs. There were no crosses that night.
Okay.
And this is, I'm going to be horrible, but I'm like, they made him sit down. So he didn't have a podium. He had a desk. Beto, sit down.
Oh God.
Abbott's in a wheelchair. You don't know that.
Oh, I know that. I know. That's why I'm sitting here going, wow. Okay.
So when it started, I'm sorry. Like I said, that was in bad taste, but anyway. So, yeah.
No,
that was an interesting hour because Abbott was just blaming everybody but himself, and then Beto would counter with, "Well, you've been governor for the last 8 years. Which part of it's your responsibility?"
Oh. And the boys at home are like going, this is the Democrats' fault, man. We don't have any left, but it's still their fault. And you froze again.
You're frozen. Again. Try that again.
No. See, on my end, you're frozen. I'm still moving around. So that's fun if somebody's watching. Yeah, you're completely gone. So the question is, if I'm still broadcasting, if I can still be heard, should I just keep talking? I'm afraid to touch buttons on my computer for the fact that, oh well. Maybe I'm gone. What do I got here? No. Yep, you're gone. And not just me, I guess. Delightful. There we go. And you're back?
I am back.
There we go.
It flipped me. Yes. Anyway, so see what we started talking politics, and they killed the feed, man.
Yeah, that was them. That was all of them.
It was the man.
The man. I would like to see. I'd actually think it would be fun to tune in to watch Herschel Walker debate.
Oh, I would love to see that.
Because I mean, it's something that the fans want to see, which I think is how he described it at some point. Which makes you kind of wonder.
He doesn't. If he had not played football for Georgia, would we be having this conversation?
No, because he would most likely. I think no, we would not. He would honestly. I think he'd be in jail for beating his wife.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I do think
for failure to pay child support.
I'll go with that one either. It's one of those two. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And I think the only reason, I mean, Chris had asked, she goes, what's his qualification? I go, national championship at UGA, I think. He was a good running
That's
back.
it. He got him a national title in Georgia. And I think that was the last one until last year. So it was a long stretch in there for Georgia.
So we need to be combing over that roster for future senators from Georgia.
Yes, exactly. who's the top Heisman contender on Georgia's team right now, because they're the future junior senator from the state of Georgia.
Yeah, give it 20 years. There we go. It's one of those things where you every now and again you see a candidate and you kind of like go, okay, I get it. You want to be a conservative district or you're a progressive district, but was that really the best you had to pick from?
Well, I think we can definitely say 9 times out of 10 the answer to that is no.
Exactly. That there was some sort of circumstances that, something happened. You had 3 credible candidates and 1 lunatic, and the 3 credible candidates split the responsible vote, and there was just enough of the lunatic vote that they ushered in the crazy one.
Yeah, it's
And
like
then
the Monty
everybody
Python
goes,
election results.
we've
John
got
Phillips
to.
Bong from the extremely silly party.
But yeah, and then everybody's like, well, they're the party's candidate. We got to rally around them. That's like,
You
no,
don't, though.
no, you don't. You really don't.
No, let them drown. Take that one for the
Wait a
team.
minute, take the loss. Take the loss. And if it's a House seat, you only got to suffer through 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, at the most, it's a 6-year, timeout. That's it.
And the way these people behave is probably not even going to be that long. We have to
Before
replace them
they're
with
indicted.
somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they pull their dick out and wave it at an intern.
I'm a senator now. Woo! And away they go.
Yes. All right, that's enough politics.
I just my biggest beef is just the quality of the ads. They are usually so boilerplate and so unimaginative.
I'll have to put
music.
a link to one of the could have been worse ones in the show notes, because those are funny as hell. They make me laugh every time I see one. Now we've got a you come out of the neighborhood and you're going out to the main highway. There's a house. It's still a country road, kind of. There's a house on one side, and they're very staunchly Republican conservative. They got a "Let's Go Brandon" banner across their gate, and a line of conservative Republican election signs.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've always got this one that they hand paint.
Uh-oh.
And it currently says "No Demons 2022."
Wow.
Yeah. Now, my favorite thing is the house across the street has started putting a line of blue signs, so they have to look at them every time they look out their window. That's my favorite. We've got dueling signs, and I'm sure it's really pissing those folks off. But yeah, No Demons 2022.
Huh. I don't know, man. Dark Brandon is out there blowing up asteroids. I don't think I'd challenge his power.
Come to the dark side. We have donuts.
Uh-huh. That's right. So along the lines of it could have been worse, right? There was an OSHA incident where a guy was painting a house, fell off the ladder to his eternal doom, right?
Okay.
I mean, it's a tragedy. It's a terrible thing. But they interviewed the guy who owned the painting company. And the guy who owns the painting company is the interview. You could actually, I watched it because then I went to our safety director and was like, what the hell, Dave? Nobody can really say that on TV, right? The guy goes out there and he says, yeah, this is a terrible accident. It's horrible. Our heart goes out to the family. But, these things happen in our line of work. And, we've been a very long time without an incident. And I turn to Dave. I'm reading this. I go, forgive me if I'm paraphrasing, but he just said we were due.
Yeah, that is actually what he said. Now that you put it like that, yeah.
So, I'm just, here you are grieving, and the owner of the company comes out and says, well, we've been a long time without an accident like this. And, May the odds be forever in your favor. They weren't today. We're going to miss John, but hey, we appreciate the tribute.
Oh,
If
man.
fireworks go off and his name's in the sky and then a big mockingbird.
And then you change the number to say 275 to a 0.
That's right. And you turn the safety clock back to 0. Exactly. And you move on.
That's what John would have wanted.
It really is. It was his last words. Finish the house. Bam. You know.
It was when he was falling. Finish
the trim. Yeah.
Oh man, now we're making fun of dead people.
Just one.
Just
and really, not him so much as his shit for brains owner.
No, that's fair. We're not really Godspeed John.
Yeah, whatever the guy's name with. I'm pretty sure in the I'm pretty sure in the depositions. So, what did you mean exactly? Well, you know, numbers, math. I mean, yeah.
It's law of averages, man. Law of averages.
Law of averages, you know, we paint a lot of houses. Occasionally we do a 2-story. It never goes well. Always ends up like this. But, you know, hey, it happens, right?
Could have been worse.
Could have been worse.
The whole crew could have fallen off the side of the house.
It was just one guy. It could have been 5. He could have gone sideways and taken the whole group out. Thank God nobody was tied off. So there goes one, there go we all. You know, it was nothing like that. It was...
Oh, nicely done, sir.
I'm appealing to a demographic.
I see that. I see what you did there.
Oh yeah, my favorite. Since I'm on depositions, is
you are by the way screwing with the color balance.
I know, it's
coming
really
in
strange,
blue and yellow.
Like I lean back and
yellow.
it goes green, and then I go sideways, it goes yellow. Yeah, there it goes, just like that. Yeah. Anyway, so depositions, right? And they're doing witness prep. I'm sorry, they are doing prepping the witnesses for what they can expect in the deposition.
Right.
And they actually have a video that they're playing, right? And they're playing this for this is an owner of a company and he's being sued for something, right? And they ask him a question and he's like tapping his hands on the desk like, I don't need to be here. And like, well, can you read what this chart says? And he's like, you got the chart. You can read the numbers. It's just numbers. And they hand him the thing. He's like rolling his eyes. He's like casually just flipping pages and tapping on it and all this stuff. And you get to the end and you're like, and did he lose? And they're like, oh, hugely lose. I mean, it's just like, fine. There. Are you happy? I mean, it was just that. Oh, it was terrible. And you're like, this is real deposition? They're like, yeah, this is real. This is a guy who is really. So anyway, if you ever get deposed, keep your hands on the table, casually folded in your lap, you know. I've sat through enough. I like, you know, rethink everything I say at work whenever there's like a human resource issue. You're like, well, I'd like to say this guy's a jackass, but I can't. So how do we, you know, not say that? Who stuck their head in?
You went, Domino came, but I was going to see if she wanted to be on the live stream, but she's not going to do it. So she's leaving now.
Yeah, your dinner's here. So.
Oh man. So I didn't have any notes. Is there anything else you want to talk about tonight?
I don't know. I mean, we talked about SheHulk. What comes on after Terrier by Night? Do you know?
I don't know what's next, actually. I saw that
now we usually know.
Yeah, it's true. I saw that they're making Armor Wars into a movie rather than a TV show, which is interesting.
Which means you either couldn't get somebody under contract, or you were like, we can't spread this out over 6 hours.
It's really pretty straightforward concept, that one.
Mhm.
Although it would work, that would work episodically, as you have him going after like one other somebody who
Super
stole
armor
armor
suit.
plans a week. I mean, that actually might work better episodically than as a movie. I don't know.
Because you figure Secret Invasion is in there, Ironheart, but I figure that one
Yeah.
probably won't come out
Oh,
till
I
after
think they're doing
Wakanda.
like Devil, Dinosaur, and Moon Girl animated. I think that one's coming out in February. Maybe that's next.
Okay. That's a swerve.
Oh, they've been using them in the comics. They show up in like the Fantastic Four books and some others like that. But yeah, that's coming. I don't know.
Eh.
I don't know. I know. All I know is I'm waiting for Black Adam now. I'm on Black Adam time. I'm excited about that one.
Well, that one looks to be one of their better efforts.
Well,
And
I
I
think
think,
that it's because they're slowly peeling away their continuity, is what they're doing.
oh, okay.
I mean, it's
Not like
it's,
a wholesale, just whitewashes, go reset. Oh, Jim Lee would like to redraw Green Lantern. Okay, it's a wrap, folks. We're starting over.
yeah, no. But I mean, because there's been like 2-3 trailers now. No mention of Shazam or the Wizard in any of the trailers.
Okay.
Nothing to equate him to that character. So, I mean, obviously, I think in the movie they'll do something. I mean, something has to come into play at some point because that's just he's Shazam before Shazam. But there's been no mention of that tie-in yet. So, except for the giant lightning bolt, but
give it time. And then they'll Snyderverse it and everything will be dark and grim and black and white.
it's a 4-hour
And then
Snyder
they'll
cut of
announce,
Black Adam.
yeah, there'll be a Snyder Cut, release a Snyder Cut. They'll announce 30 movies and then they'll cut half of them, like, I you watch them just slash projects. And I think part of me probably says, they probably had to go. Some of
Well,
them.
yeah, and they've the whole Ezra Miller thing has got to be an albatross that they don't know how to get rid of because they've. I mean, I can't believe they haven't just recast the Flash, but I think they were too far into Flashpoint to start over.
And it's one of those where you see these snippets where test audience are like, "Oh my God, the Flash is fantastic! It's great! It's this and that." But yeah, I think they're too far down the rabbit hole to, do we chuck 100 million? I'm sorry, do we chuck another 100 million?
Yeah.
Or we just maybe delay the release until some of this stuff blows over?
That makes me a little bit ill.
Yes, yes, it should. Yes, it should.
I think the problem is is twofold. I think it's the money.
Mhm.
I also think it's because they were going to use that as their trigger, their flashpoint to
Boom.
fix it.
To
start
undo
fixing,
everything and reset.
Yes. So
Very nice.
they can't do that if they bury that movie.
So the new 52 films to reset the DCEU.
Yes. Oh, it's a bold plan.
It's a very bold plan, especially.
And we're gonna get a year and a half into it and decide we don't like what we're doing, and then we're gonna be a crisis to be named later. Just so far, all we know is it's a crisis.
It's
of some
crisis
sort.
TBD. Yeah. Crisis on Infinite. We'll figure it out.
I just wrote crisis TBD for a title.
Crisis TBD. I like. Yes, that's a good one.
So yeah, I'm curious to see what, if any other references to the DCEU there are at Black Adam. But I'm also looking forward to seeing Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate because that's just going to be fun.
Oh, he's got the look of a wizened old man.
Yes,
who's been around, who's seen some shit.
Yeah, if they were to cast anybody over the age of 40 in a Marvel movie, he'd have been a great Doctor Strange, as it turns out.
Yes, he would. Instead of butternut crinkle fries or buttersquash crinkle fries.
Oh.
in a Taquito Wow Titties film. Yes.
Oh,
The thing about Ezra Miller that always screws me up is when they use the pronouns.
yeah.
Because, I mean, and here's the deal. This is nothing against people who use the different pronouns and stuff. But you and I are old enough that when you see they, it's plural.
Yes. And that's
They
it's a function
is
of
plural.
age. It's all it is. It's not you can identify however you want to. I care not.
Exactly.
It's just a function of age.
And so every time it's like Ezra Miller says they, I immediately go, who is he talking about? I mean, I'm just like, who are they? Who are they?
I do it with
He's
the boys
accused them of doing this, and you're like, who are them?
who
are these
else
people?
is it? Army Hammer? Who else is in this with him?
Exactly.
The boys will say, "Hey, I've got a friend who's with them," and I'm inevitably in that same.
And the weird thing
chipmunk
is that
spin.
saying it doesn't screw me up as much as reading it.
Yeah, definitely reading it is because the context clues that we were taught don't match up with the facts. Yeah, and that's
Exactly.
I don't care how you identify yourself. Godspeed, whatever makes you happy. I don't care. None of my business.
But yeah, and I figure in the Patton Oswalt special, he's talking about how being woke will eventually catch up to you because you'll be like, I don't think that you should be able to have sex with your clone. Oh, he's anti-clone.
That was the stuff he was doing when we saw him last year or earlier this year. Whenever I guess it was still earlier. We were supposed to see him last year, and then he broke his leg, and then he rescheduled. We saw him a couple 3 months ago, and I think he was fine tuning the act because I saw a couple of clips. I'm like, oh, he did that bit when we was here. So yeah, I think we caught the tail end of him fine tuning that special.
But yeah. So yes, that's the whole thing. Without the context clues, I'm always going to think of it plural, and it's always going to screw me up. And then Saturday Night Live, I don't know if you caught the premiere, but
I saw most of it. Yeah.
Did you? I like the say something normal or whatever. Send something normal.
I love they got Keenan's
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yes.
Holy moly.
I thought the opening
into my telescope.
I thought that opening sketch was brilliant. And I thought Miles Teller's Peyton
was phenomenal. It was uncanny. Yes.
It was. I don't know how they gave him the giant forehead, but they managed to do it.
But yes, and I like that. Oh, he forgot to close the door. And that's the only time we see him tonight. Because I thought it was the meta thing that it's like acknowledging that everything's in turnover and you've got all these new people coming in.
Yeah.
And I think it's like it played off of like every bitch you've ever read about Saturday Night Live.
Well, I saw a thing this morning. Oh, it was a mediocre opening. That wasn't funny. I'm like, you need to just stop watching because if you don't get that they were having fun at their own expense, then you got no business watching this show. Because it was clear that they all knew and they wanted us to know that they knew that we were watching with a critical eye to see how these new people were going to do and how they were going to transition the old cast out and some of the mid-level cast people in. Because I think Bowen Yang is a superstar in the making.
Yes, he is. If he would do... he is. And I did like the fact that, during the say something normal or send something normal, and our returning champ who won $1.4 billion.
How did you... Okay. Yes. I also really like Chloe Feynman. I think she's got a lot of potential. I do
like her. The Dismukes kid, he's going to move into the Moffat role.
Yeah, and the new kid who left the door open, they tried to shoehorn him into the Pete Davidson role on update. I saw that was pretty blatant. There's our new resident young person.
The new black guy was. I thought, oh my god, it is Black Pete Davidson because there was something about his mannerisms.
Well, it was the way they brought that guy out
Corn
there.
Kid, really?
the way they get the new guy on update, it was like he came out and he sat next to Colin, and he was clearly the young guy, and he was talking about his dad, and he was like, "Oh, here's our new resident young person, and we're just gonna just drop him right in Pete's spot."
Mm-hmm. So yeah, well, that'd be fun. Well, when he blows up, we'll know how they'll handle it.
When he's dating a Kardashian, we'll know he's made it.
Exactly.
If we know when we know his name, I guess, instead of just the new kid who left the door open.
That poor guy. Yeah. So yeah, I did watch that, and I haven't watched all of it. I've seen bits and pieces of the Cottonelle Bears.
That was
I
not
didn't
funny.
work my hands, huh?
That wasn't that funny.
Okay.
Laura and I were talking about that at dinner. I mean, she's like, it wasn't as funny for as much time as it got and the payoff that you got out of it. And that's a valid assessment of the sketch.
Yeah, no,
And
speaking
then
of Saturday Night, go on.
I was gonna say that they did the one with the finance bros, which was too long. But yeah, anyway.
No, it was like somebody wrote down a list of their favorite TV shows, and one of the shows was Saturday Night Live when you were in high school.
That's always a valid criticism for SNL. I don't ever feel like that's misplaced, because at this point I can leave when the musical guests are on about 90% of the time. Last night Laura got up and left, and she came back and she was like, "Oh, he's still on." Okay. I don't know when they started to get to do set pieces for the musical guests and all that other stuff. I don't know how they set them up and tear them down that quickly when they have those set pieces.
Oh,
But,
I think they have like a whole little side stage for that stuff. But
okay. All right.
yeah, no, but that's the thing, and I'm realizing, I've watched it since it first came on,
Mhm.
and yeah, and you want to say the same thing. They've always had recurring characters that work and don't work, and there's always been one that's like, it's never going to work. You need to stop. Just put this guy to bed.
And there's always one or two that
come out of nowhere.
Yeah, and there's always something that catch on that I never understand how they catch on.
Mm-hmm. There's always like the bad 11 o'clock, 11:30 end of the show sketch that you're just like, oof, good God.
Yeah, those are either really, really weird,
Funny,
and
weird, funny, strange.
weird.
Ha-ha.
Yeah, sometimes they're brilliant, but most of the time they're just, we got 3 minutes to kill. But occasionally there'll be one where it's just like, okay, that was actually the best thing on the show all night, and this is too bad most people didn't see it.
And there's one where they had like the in-show parody commercial with Will Forte, who then shows up in the 11 o'clock sketch as the character from the fake commercial.
I don't remember that at all.
Oh,
wow.
yes. And that was kind of like one of those moments of like, nice job, guys. Nice job.
Well, it's like the buckwheat, the assassination of buckwheat might be their high water mark as far as just
that kind of thing. Continuing to get gagged through the show.
Yeah.
Dennis Miller going gobble, gobble, gobble.
Gobbles.
Gobbles,
Gobble,
gobble.
Gamble. That was funny. It must have worked because we're still ripping it today. The other one that they did, which was a whole show payoff, was very early on when they had the mutant lobsters. Do you remember that one?
No, I don't.
They kept breaking in there had been, because it was in the 70s. It might have been season 1 even. It was season 1 or 2. And they kept like cutting in, like it was kind of War of the Worldsy, where like, oh, there's been a nuclear reactor meltdown. The water has gotten into the ocean. There have been some mutations to the sea life. Oh my God, these giant lobsters are invading New York. And at the end, like it was like the giant claws, obviously fake claws, can then grab Belushi and start shaking him around. I mean, I remember that. Just like, what is happening here? But that's the other one that sticks out to me.
I got nothing. I don't recall that at all.
We went to.
I want to feed you to the Wolverines.
Oh, Michael O'Donoghue.
Oh yes, I would imagine if we stuck big steel needles into their eyes, I think it'd go a little something like this. Just, I mean,
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you look at that and compare it to text something appropriate or whatever it was called, I mean, they had nothing to lose in those first couple of
No.
seasons, so they gave zero fucks. Now it's an institution, and the humor is obviously going to be different. And 50 years have passed, so the point of view is different. And I think we're kind of lucky in that we've been able to watch it all along, so we have an appreciation for what it was, what it's become, and we're able to say, okay, that cast member is really funny, and they're going to do well. That one I have concerns about. I don't think we'll be seeing much of them. I mean, and I love Saturday Night Live, and I will never be one of those people who goes, "Oh, it would stop being funny in the '80s."
No, you stopped being funny in the 80s.
I'm not an Adam Sandler guy, never have been, but I was working nights during that period, so I didn't see much of that group, the Spade, Sandler, Farley, Rock group. I just didn't see much of it because I was working Saturday nights, and so I just missed that one, frankly.
No, it was. I watched bits and pieces. It was. They talk about frat boy humor, and it kind of, it was a lot of that kind of stuff.
Right.
Chris Rock never did. I don't think he did enough on Saturday Night Live to have gotten his own talk show, but it worked out for him. Tim Meadows is one of those guys where I'm surprised he hasn't done more. I think he's underappreciated.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he was Keenan before Keenan.
Pretty much. Yeah, he just had a thing about him that he's like the film director for a commercial. And he's like, oh, that was perfect. And not so good. That was terrible.
I love the ladies' man. I was never not like the ladies' man. But
God.
characters that didn't deserve to get a movie, the ladies' man. It's fun for about 5 minutes, and that's enough. And scene.
Talking about Saturday Night Live, and I think it was in an interview with Conan O'Brien talking about the show. Talking about how when it came on, about pop culture being different, and that when it first came on, there was 3 networks and PBS, and then the weird local VHF channel.
Yeah, where you would watch the
Uncle Smiley's Rump Rangers. Whoa, what?
This is Midnight Creature Features with Bob the Ghoul.
Yes. And so then you had that pop culture that was very shared and very common because there was no other way to get anything else.
It's true.
And so when their humor made fun of those institutions, it hit hard because everybody knew the institutions and it freaked everybody out. Then you move to nowadays where you've got, a bazillion cable channels, social media, a bazillion outlets. And if you want to do weird niche stuff like Michael O'Donoghue impersonations of guys with 18-inch steel needles stuck in their eyes, you could do a whole channel of that and you'd probably have an audience.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's where they're going to get their talent from. I mean, they already are. It's YouTube. I mean, that's where they got Sandberg from, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Lonely Island guys, they got it from that.
Yeah.
The Do Not Destroy guys, I think those are funny.
Isn't one of them Higgins' son? I think. I don't know. I think I read that somewhere.
No, but those guys are pretty fun.
Yeah. So I'm, as I always say, cautiously optimistic going after the first episode of the new season. I think there's some potential there. And it's always good for the show when they change up the talent. I mean, because they do get stale, they get fat and happy, and it's good for once in a while for them to break it up, change it up.
Yeah. Well, I think too with what you saw with the pandemic cast. I mean, they'd do like one skit a night. You wouldn't see him for 4 more weeks. So
yeah. Well, I don't think Cecily Strong was on last night, but she's still in the cast, and that's been something I've noticed over the last couple of years. I don't think she left.
She's gone.
Is she? Okay. I mean, I didn't see her name anywhere.
I don't remember. Yeah.
But and I have to think that Jost and Che are getting close to the end of their tenure update.
I'm surprised they didn't leave with everybody else, and maybe
Yeah,
they stayed because everybody else left. Because Jost has talked about leaving. I thought he would leave after the presidential elections, year before last.
with Laura and I were talking, because Lauren's made some noise about ending the show at 50 years, which would be next season. And I'm like, NBC, he can leave. NBC's not going to let that show die. It's an institution. And she goes, yeah, they've got another year to convince Tina to come take over. I said, or Colin. And that could be, he could have been promised
Well,
a
there's
Lauren
that.
chair.
And I've also heard Kenan Thompson, too, knows how everything works.
That's
I
true.
mean, yeah, he just comes out, he mugs, and I mean, I'm a Herschel Walker. Herschel, whatever.
Herschel, yeah. That was funny. Yeah, I mean, he's another choice. But, I mean, they've got people that have
Could take over.
That could take it over.
Al Franken. He's not working.
It's my show, Al Franken. I'm Al Franken. That would be such a great callback to the early days of the show. That would be so fucking funny. Guess who's the new producer of the show? It's me, Al Franken. That would be epic. And it'd be a joke for me, you, and Conan O'Brien.
And that's it. About a half a dozen people, yeah.
Well, should we call this one a night?
I was thinking that we should. I'm broadcasting from what they're calling the Babe Cave.
That doesn't sound like a bad place to be.
No, I mean, actually, I think if you see on the wall, there's actually a thing that says Babe Cave.
Okay.
As my daughter has taken over formally my office, relegated me to, Chud, living down in the basement. Cannibalistic, humanoid, underground dweller.
Yeah, we're down on Chud. That's it. We're done. That's how we go out tonight. All right, folks, that's episode 50. I hope you enjoyed our first live stream. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. We'll do it again. And until then, I'm still Bruce.
I'm still Steve.
And we'll see you next time. Later. Bye.
Vacillating between blue and green.